Hi there, welcome back. What we're doing today is having a look at the Rimu inlay we've got. Now you remember last time I needed to sand it to make it fit a little better and to give room for the binding, and as you can see now it's actually appears to be a little bit sloppy, but it's not. I've spent quite a few hours out here sanding this to get it to fit nicely, and I'll put the camera on the tripod in a second so you can see where we're going with this. Hopefully you can see that, and hopefully the camera doesn't fall. So we've made the gap, and this is the binding, and not today, but the plan is that the Rimu will be bound all the way around, kind of like this. You're not going to get much of an impression because I've got a lot of this filler on the side, and also the binding is going to sink down a little bit just for this little experiment here, but that's the general idea. So it will look a lot more obvious, hopefully, maybe not, but hopefully, once this is all completely finished with its pearl white. The primer here is white, but pearl white's going to be a little bit different, and I need to sand away this filler. But that's the idea. So I still need to sand the Rimu to match the profile of the top, so there's no lip here, but that's a bit further on down the line. What I'm going to do today is finish tidying the body up, and then we'll move on to the next step. I'm not 100% sure how I'm going to go about this yet. I'm going to have to think a little bit carefully, but it's taking shape. The shape here, this will be cut out, and here a little bit further on down the line. I'm not too worried about that today. Overall though, it's looking okay. I think that we're onto something here, so I'll carry on. Okay, I've made my decision on how we're going to proceed from here on in, and you probably noticed that I've sanded off quite a lot of the primer that's on here because of the imperfections I want to sort out. There's a little bit of filler I've replaced, and now I can't see it, but I've replaced a little bit of filler that needs the last bit of sanding before I apply the new primer on here. The reason is I'm going to prime this. I have to mask all the interior of course, but I'm going to prime the outside again. It's actually very, very smooth, but there's a couple of places. So anyway, I'm going to prime the outside again, and we'll just put the Rimu in here pretty much like it is. It can't go far, and then I'm going to sand the Rimu until it's level. You can see there it's not quite level yet, and it needs to be. As I'm sanding, when I start seeing the edges of what will be white getting scuffed up, I'll know straight away that I've reached the edge and I need to be careful, and then I'll proceed from there very, very carefully with a higher grit of sandpaper. Once that's done, I'll end up having to prime this again, I expect, and shortly after that we'll look at putting the Rimu in here permanently. So I'm going to sand this again, and then we'll get to throwing a coat of paint on it. I'm going to paint it flat on the table this time rather than hanging up. It was a little bit awkward last time, but we'll do it flat and see how we go. Okay, we're getting ready to go here. You can see that we're set up on the table, and I can obviously only paint one half at a time, but I think this is going to work out alright. So let's go. So we'll just give that a few minutes to tack off. It's a very light coat, and we'll throw another one straight over the top, and then once that's dry I'll turn it over and we'll do the back. It's only been probably 3 or 4 minutes, but we're going to carry on here because it's quite warm today. It's tacking off quite nicely, so let's get into it. Okay, that will do for this side. We've got a reasonable coverage on there. It's primer, so the reasonable coverage is all we're really looking for at this stage. So we'll give that a few minutes to tack off, and I'll flip it over and we'll do the other side. Okay, we're ready to go for the back. So let's get a couple of coats on here and see how we go. Same as before, but a light coat on first, then a bit heavier one. That's probably what I've got in this can anyway. The remainder of the can's going to go on now reasonably wet. I doubt that it's going to run anywhere because it's flat, so we'll see. The reason I'm going a bit heavier on the back than the front is because when I sand the Rimu, the front is going to be probably sanded off a little bit, so there's no point in piling the paint on just yet. We're nearly empty here. Nearly done this can. Now you can hear it, eh? That's it. The can's done. So let's bring you a little bit closer and have a quick eyeball. You can see we've got a reasonable coverage on there. So we'll let that dry now, and then we'll hit it with a little bit of sandpaper, and we'll look at the next stage, which will be the Rimu on the front. I've got a plan for that, and I think I've mentioned it a little bit earlier, but that'll be it for this one. Have a good Christmas, and we'll come back in the new year, and hopefully we'll get this finished before next Christmas. Take care. Bye bye.